Okay, so welcome to How to Do the Moves Lift Lean. Now, Lift Lean is a program of body weight or weights, or you can do it with water bottles, or you can do it with a kettlebell, or you can do it without. It is just really to get our muscles working. So, as we get older, especially perimenopause coming up towards menopause, postmenopause, unfortunately, our hormones start to decline. So, and that can lead to muscle loss or muscle mass decline. So, basically, your muscles start to deteriorate. It's really sad, I know, but there we go. So, doing the weights can really just help to keep that muscle mass going. In turn, also your metabolism drops. That's why as you get older, it's less calories, isn't it? Because you don't burn it off as quickly. So doing things like lift lean, especially if you're doing with a kettlebell, you don't have to start with a really heavy kettlebell. But if you are like it, kettlebell also brings in a little bit more cardio work. I'm not saying we jump up and down with the kettlebell, we don't. But the way you hold the kettlebell and the moves you do, maybe get your heart rate up. Well, the weights do as well, but I'd say the kettlebell is more of an overall. So it's best to do a bit of both, really. So your metabolism starts to drop. With doing that, it helps you to burn calories and good with fat loss. Again, as we get older, did you know 1 in 3 women suffer with osteoporosis after menopause? And that's where your bones are really brittle. So say you had a fall or something, you could really do some damage and break your bones quite easily. So we need to start bone density, bone loading. So doing the weights, doing like your press ups, doing different things, holding the weights, it all really helps with your bone density. So it's really important as well for your health that way. We know what happens in menopause, don't we? With mood swings, night sweats, hot flushes, that sort of thing. So doing the weights, it just really helps to balance the hormones out as well. And exercise is just nothing but good for you in moderation and balanced exercise. So I don't recommend as you get older to do loads of running. I don't recommend that you do loads of cardio. You need to have a balance. The cardio is good for your heart and for your cardiovascular system, but also we need to do these weights to get our muscles stronger, more strength, and it just really helps with your hormones. Brings your cortisol levels down. That's your stress, can deal with stress, and that can lead to all sorts of stuff. So it's really good for mood swings and balancing hormones. We also need to make sure when we do a lift lean program that we make sure we're having a good quality protein as well. So that's really important. So things like fish, chicken, eggs, yogurt, Greek yogurt, nuts, seeds, beans, pulses, those sort of things. It doesn't have to be really expensive stuff. We did a beef curry for a treat yesterday, and I cooked it for hours. So it was really lean beef. And then I added butter beans, and I added vegetables, and I added lentils. So I added some pulses as well to bulk it out, make it a little bit more healthier, still add in the protein, and then that adds on fibre as well. So do think about having some of those in your cupboard because they are really important. And they're cheap, aren't they? I mean, gosh, go down to Lidl or Aldi, you can buy those beans really cheap, and they're brilliant just to have in your cupboard. Don't have to add meat if you're vegetarian. There are lots of other options, as I say, like the beans, pulses, and things like that, nuts and seeds. Just be careful with the nuts and seeds, moderation, because they do also contain healthy fats, which is brilliant, but just be aware not to have handfuls and handfuls. But everything balance in life, isn't it? Make sure you add some good fibre, so your beans and your lentils, again, like I've mentioned, your nuts, whole grains, multigrains, so like your brown rices and things, and fruits and vegetables. And healthy fats, oily fish, avocado, nuts, those sort of things as well. So all those things help to support you, but definitely the protein, especially as you get older anyway. A good balanced diet can really help. All right, so how to do the moves. We talked a little bit about why we need to do the moves. Now let's talk about how we do the moves. So one of the things that we need to tone is our glutes, and our glutes are one of our biggest muscles in our body. So these are a win-win, because if you can get these nice and toned, they in turn will ask your body to burn more calories to be able to function. all right, because they're bigger. So we do a squat. Now, I know not everybody likes to do a squat, and sometimes if you've got knees that are a little bit hurting and they're not so flexible and there's issues with your knees, a squat isn't always a good option. I'm going to show you a squat anyway, and it's really important. Over the years, I've done this for many years, I say to ladies in class, squat, and I see this. All right, so what they're doing then is, if you've got your body weight here and you do that, you're just putting all your body weight into your knee joints, and that can make them really, really hurt, and it can't be very good for the joint at all. So we really need to think about going backwards with our squat, okay? And it is a bit scary, and it is hard. Just doing a normal squat is hard. So you need to take your bottom backwards as if you're going to sit on a chair, right? So you take your bottom backwards. Do it with me if you want, okay? And then when I look down, my knees should be kind of in line pretty much with my ankles. If I was to do a squat like this, I can't even see my ankles. All right, so you really do need to think about going backwards into that squat. And you might not get down very far the first few times. It doesn't matter, you're doing something. All right, so with lift lean, you don't have to use the weights, but you might want to do the weights with filled water bottles, the squats, and you might want to do them with the weights. And that just adds a little bit more for those muscles to have to work. But it's an option, it's an absolute option. All right, so I hear you cry, Ros, I can't do a squat. Unfortunately, my knees aren't good. So we're still working through these glutes. If you stand upright, you could do it standing against something, and then you just take the leg back and you give that glute a little squeeze. So you need to squeeze it. It's no good just swinging your leg backwards and forwards. You need to consciously think, squeeze the muscle, squeeze it. So you're getting into that muscle. You might decide you do a few squats and then you think, actually, I'm going to do a few leg lifts. All right, so that's your glute. So there are alternatives, okay? We also do things like lunges. Now, people don't always like a lunge, but I think it's over the years people have maybe done them incorrectly, and then again their knees hurt. So with a lunge, if we're lunging back, and this is another thing I see quite a lot as well, I say big step back, all right? And very few people do actually take a big step back. You have to take a big step back. If you can imagine, I say lunge, someone puts their leg there and then they go like that. Now that's exactly the same as doing the squat where you're coming forward. So you take your leg back and you go like that and you think, oh, my knees ache. Don't like lunges, all right? Because you're just putting your body weight into your knees. You need to take a big step, So probably 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 lots of feet. If that makes sense. So to lunge back, keep nice and tall, you take a big step back and you go up on your back toe. All right, so sometimes ladies do it like that and then they don't even go on their back toe and then they wonder why it's all a bit. All right, so you take a big step back. Now I look down, my knee is kind of in line with my ankle. And I bring my body up and I make sure at all times I keep my headlights up. All right, so this is another common mistake that people do. They think, right, I've taken a big step back and now I'm going to lunge. And then they do that. All right, so what's happened there? They've, again, brought their body weight over their knee and they've just dropped their chest and they haven't lunged at all. They've just made a problem with their knees and it might hurt again. And they think, oh, no. So what you need to do is you need to hinge from here, keep those headlights on, and then you need to drop your knee down towards the floor. Again, you might not get it very far down. You might only get it down a little way, but that's fine. It's better to do that and work on it than do it incorrectly. All right, that is not a lunge. This is a lunge. Now I can really feel that into my quad, all right, and I can feel that into my legs. Okay, so that's your lunge. It's really important, that one. All right, really important. That's just something to work on. Now you could do a front lunge, same thing. All right, so you just take a big step forward and then we're in the same position as we were when we took the leg back and then we lunge. Okay, again, rather than, yes, am I making sense? Hopefully I am. Okay, side lunge as well. When we do a side lunge, we need to make sure our legs start wider than our hips. All right, Another thing I see, do a side lunge. All right. Their legs just aren't wide enough to start with. And then they wonder why it all hurts through the hips, it hurts through the knees. So you need to make sure you take a bigger step so that your feet are a lot wider than your hips. Okay. Then all you need to do is take your hips over to the side. So you're kind of moving to the side. I'm keeping square onto the front. And I'm going to just come over so that, again, it's all knee in line. So my knee is in line here. All right, can you see? And then I now start to keep my chest up. And now I can feel it into my inner thigh. All right. This is what I see, again, quite a lot. They go over, they roll over, and then they turn. All right. And that, again, what's that doing? All that weight into that knee and that ankle. All right, so you need to keep square on, I call it, square on at all times, looking forward. So you never turn into a lunge. All right, you always lunge down and you keep looking forward. Try a few for me. All right, to the other side. And as you do it, your bottom kind of goes, if I show you a side view, your bottom kind of goes back. Yeah, and back. Rather than over and all a bit weird. All right, again, we could do those with the weights or water bottles just to add a bit more, and you bring them down. And again, you don't turn, you keep upright and you come down and then you do the other side. I would say doing it with weights on the side lunges is a little bit more advanced. So again, it's like any of the things I do. If you're a beginner, you can absolutely start without the weights because you're still toning. It's still a toning class. I encourage ladies to come to my kettlebells and I say, if you haven't got a kettlebell, don't buy one the first few weeks because you can absolutely still work out and do it without the kettlebell, without the weights. See how you get on, and then you can purchase the equipment if you want to. Okay, right, getting on so far? So far, so good? Good. All right, now, when we talk about working the core, a lot of people think you have to go down and do 100 sit-ups. Now, sit-ups aren't very good now. We've got much better ways to work the core, and you can do some standing. So if you are a beginner, all right, and you don't want to get down and up and down and up, but you still want to work your core and you want to start off on a base level, there are so many things you can do. We've just done a lift lean session and I introduced some of them there. So things like you could stand against here and you could bring your leg to the side and you could tap your leg. Now, that action is moving this muscle here, my oblique. All right, that's what gives you your shape. So actually, that's pretty doable for most people. All right, so you can do those, and then you can do the same thing and bring it forward. Okay, and that's working your legs as well. All right, you could do a knee lift. So every time you imagine your muscles here, every time you lift your knee, that muscle has to contract to bring the knee up and back down. So as you do a knee lift, your muscle's doing that. So actually, yeah, we might do mountain climbers. People might do stuff on the floor with their knees in and they're pushing their legs out. But you can still get that core work from just doing a knee lift. All right, so it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything really, complicated. You can do it standing. Now I am going to get down on the floor now and I'm going to show you some plank alternatives, how to do a plank, because a plank, as well as doing your core, it is an overall, because you're working through the arms, you're working through the shoulders and through the legs. So everything comes into play on a plank. Again, guess what? You could still do a plank by standing up and bringing your hands up, but it's how you do it, isn't it? I could just stand here like this. Or I could lift up through the tummy. I could engage my core. So I bring my belly button in towards my spine. My knees are nice and soft. And I really reach up and then I can hold it. Now I can feel my core contracting now. Okay. And I can really feel that it's there. It's there. Okay. So that's your standing alternative. Or we could come down onto the floor. Always make sure your knees are under your hips and they're hip distance apart, and your wrists are under your shoulders. All right, now I am in a box position. Now I'm going to drop down onto my forearms. I'm going to keep my shoulders nice and open. All right, and now I'm going to bring my belly button in towards my spine, and I am now planking. All right, so I'm really feeling that contraction. All I've done is I've pulled my belly button up towards the ceiling, and that is my box plank, sorry. Okay, if you're thinking, well, yeah, I can do that, that's not too bad, then the next level is to just take your knees a bit further back. So you'd be kind of come like a bit of an angled position. Keep your shoulders in line with your elbows, and then draw the abdominals in again. I'm not sticking my bottom up or back. I'm just drawing my abdominals in. And now I can really feel that contracting. Absolutely. Or the other one we come to, isn't it, is you just lift your knees off. Now that's very advanced, but you might want to do, okay, a couple of seconds advanced, bring your knees down, carry on. All right, with the plank as well, this is what I see a lot. All right, it's not a plank, because a plank, I've never seen a plank with a bump in it like that, so you need to be nice and straight. Okay, so there's your plank alternatives. All right, how are we doing? Good. Things like triceps. I know a lot of ladies don't like their triceps, so these are these muscles here. We do things like overhead tricep and things like that. So if you grab your weights, again, you can do it without your weights. If you were to stand and then just bring your arms backwards, already my triceps have come into play. All right, so that is working my tricep. I might bring it back and up again into my tricep. I don't have to be worried about when the ladies do these ones and I can't quite get them over. I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't do that. It doesn't matter. You can do that or that, working through your tricep. You can do it without the weights. You know, you could do it without the weights. You could cross them over. It's all getting into those tricep muscles. All right? So don't despair. If we are talking about doing one overhead, okay, so you bring your weight up or your water bottle. All right, I'll show you side on. What you need to be thinking is you need to be bringing it down towards the nape of your neck. So now you can see my arms are nice and straight and my elbows are pointing up. Okay, I'm not leaning forward. I'm nice and strong. And then I bring it up and I can really feel that action just with one weight even. Okay, can you see? This is what I see quite a lot. See the difference? Yeah? See the difference in that? That is really getting into my muscle there. And left and down. Whereas lots of ladies, they bring it over their head, they only like, all right? So that's something to really think about. With your back muscles here, we do things like arms out to the side. Now they can be quite challenging, shoulders. So you could always do a tray and you could have your palms facing up. Okay, so that's a good one to do rather than bringing your arms out. Don't fling it up either. It's all about controlling, making that muscle work. All right, so you could go like that instead. Things like a bicep curl. You know, people think, oh, I'm going to get bulky muscles on my biceps. You won't, because we just don't as we get older. So you could do it like that with your palms facing in towards each other, like hammer curl. Or you could turn your palms and do it like that. Okay, it just depends how you feel in your shoulders, what feels comfortable for you. We do something like a prison curl, which again has got a different hand position, or you can do them all without. All right, so there really is lots of things we can do. So I've talked about the legs. I've talked about, what's the other thing I was going to say to you about the legs out to the side. You know, you can do standing legs, getting into the muscles here, flexing the foot, just making sure your knees, now you can do those. You could do a leg, knee and an extension. Now, if you've got dodgy knees, that's a really good one to do, because you can imagine this quad muscle. As you do that, your quad muscle's got to get nice and tight to make the knee move. So that's quite a nice one. It's gentle on the knees, But again, you're going to work these muscles. All right, so we talked about inner thighs, outer thighs. We've talked about glutes. We've talked about triceps. We've talked about doing planks and things, and core work. All right, so hopefully there's I mean, I could go on for hours, but I'm conscious I just want to do a little bit with you quickly, like just a 5-minute, just to show you. So don't worry about using any weights for now. Okay, I'm just going to pop some music on. All right, and we're just going to do a little warm up. So please, if you're new to me and you haven't tried Lift Lean, I absolutely urge you to try, because ladies, there's nothing not to love. Ladies who do it, they love it. March it out. Just give me a little march. We do 15-minute classes. We have 30-day online programs that are 5 minutes long. Right, little dig with the heel. Now tap it to the side. Little dig with the heel. Now tap it out to the side. No two classes are ever the same. Heel dig. Tap side. Heel dig. Tap side. Right, you're going to bring your arms up and out. Getting into the shoulders. Now take it on a diagonal.
Take a 10-second rest. In 4, 3, 2,
right, just give me a little side bend.
Get ready. Exercise 2. In 4,
and then you're going to give me a
3,
twist.
2,
Keep the hips forward.
1.
And then we've got a knee lift. So we're going to lift the knee. March it out. Actually, do grab some weights or water bottles if you have them. I am going to do the moves, I think. Why not? Again, you can do it without. Shoulders back, right, feet slightly wide apart. Think about those knee positions as you squat down. No, you don't have to use the weights. Now you give everything a good squeeze as you come up. It's always good when you're doing Lift Lean to visualise. If I was to do this workout every day, 15 minutes for a week, how would I feel?
In 4, 3,
okay, let's do those again.
1.
So really getting my bottom down. Weight is through the heels. I can wiggle my toes. Okay, rest it there. Take a deep breath in and out. Should we do those biceps we spoke about? Shoulders back. So we're going to bring the arms up. Again, you could change the arm position. It's up to you.
Take a 10-second rest. In 4, 3, 2.
It's all about your posture as well. Have a little rest.
Get ready.
So when you're doing things like your bicep, if you lean forward, you're just going to really
4,
value your posture. You need to
3,
really think
2,
posture.
1.
And if you do that with your posture, for a start, you start to train yourself standing upright, looking confident, looking nice and tall. And it's going to work your core as well. If you're bending over, that's not working your core. Standing up is. Okay. Should we try a few of those row backs? So you're going to take it back, or here. Ready? Other arm.
Take a 10-second rest. In 4, 3, 2.
Okay,
1.
put your weights down.
Get
Right,
ready.
give your arms a little roll.
Exercise 5.
We're just going to do a little squat
In
down with our
4,
arms up
3,
into a
2,
wide position. So
1.
you're going to squat. So now I'm working into my core and my legs. I'm working into the shoulders, the back. So we really do mix lift lean up, we really do. We do different muscle groups, we do different music, we do different warm-ups.
Take a 10-second
There we go,
rest.
we did a 50-10 there.
In 4, 3, 2, 1.
And release, bring your hands.
Get
I hope
ready.
you've enjoyed that how-to. I hope it's made a
Exercise
difference.
6.
Please let me know if you're on the
In 4,
replay. Please
3,
let me know if you're
2,
new to me
1.
and that you want any information or any help, or please let me know. You know, hi Ros, I have knee issues, I have a hip issue. I'm here to help. I'm not here to make you feel like you can't do anything. I'm here to help you. I want you to feel your best and do what you can, and there's so many alternatives. Okay, we're just going to take the leg back into a calf stretch. Again, really important with a calf stretch, take your leg back rather than here, and then change sides.
Take
Okay,
a 10-second
just bring your heel in
rest.
front, stick your bottom back,
In 4, 3, 2, 1.
and then change.
Get ready. Exercise 7. In 4,
Have a
3,
deep breath,
2, 1.
and then release, and you're done. My little catchphrase, that is. Right, so thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it made sense. We do 30-day challenges, which are 5 minutes long, including the warm-up and the cool-down. There's hundreds of those on the online. You can either do a timed one where one starts at a certain time. So it might start on the 1st of March and you have to sort of do it. It's just motivating for you to do it. Tick it off as you do it on the app. Or there are older ones you can join. There are beginners ones you can join. So 5 minutes a day with rest days. They're the online programs. Or we've got Lift Lean in 15 minutes. We do that 6:30 Monday to Friday on Zoom live, or again, you can catch the replays. We've just started going back to a Saturday morning for that as well. We've got Kettlebells, which is half an hour. That goes by so quick. And you can, again, like I said in the beginning, you can do that without your kettlebell. You can do it with weights, water bottles. You can just come along and do it anyway. And that's in the hall, or that is on Zoom. There's so many different ones. On our library, I've got hundreds of classes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, you name it, we do it. Anyway, lots of love to you all. Have a good one. Hope that helped. And I shall see you all soon.